Hey, what is up guys? John here at Tekmogo. Welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Samsung Galaxy S25. So guys, I've been using the S25 for about 2 weeks now, and I just wanted to share some of my experiences with it during that time. All right, so let's start with the form factor. So it's got a 6.2-inch display, so it's nice and compact, easy to operate one-handed. And even with the smaller form factor, you can still enjoy watching your videos on there, playing some games. Everything looks nice. Now going over the form factor, it's got an aluminum frame and it is glass front and back with Gorilla Glass Victus 2. I really love the matte finish on the frame as well as the back. It keeps those pesky fingerprints at bay. All right, so the version we got is the icy blue, but this phone comes in many different colorways. I just think this color is classy and clean. Now continuing with the build, this phone is IP68 dust and water resistant. So you can take this phone out in the elements, not have to really worry about anything, because if you do get caught out in the rain, that's not going to be a problem. If you accidentally drop this in water, the IP68, you're good to go. It's good for 3.5 meters, up to 30 minutes. So that should be plenty of time for you to pick it up, get it out of the elements. And like I mentioned earlier, it's got a 6.2-inch display. Now this display is awesome. It's an AMOLED display with LTPO technology, meaning that if you're someone that likes to keep always on display on, if you've got it resting on the table and you're not using it, it's going to drop down to 1 hertz. It's conserving battery life. And then when you pick it up, start using it, playing some games and whatnot, it'll adjust the refresh rate to up to 120 hertz. So the screen's going to be nice and fluid and snappy, and it just gives you an overall awesome experience. All right, so going back over the display, again, it's a 6.2-inch AMOLED screen with LTPO technology, up to 120 hertz refresh rate. We've got HDR10 support, up to 2600 nits peak brightness. So if you use the phone outside and it's very sunny out, it's not going to be a problem because this thing gets super bright. Indoors, I'm only using about 30% brightness because it's just that bright. It's crazy. While we're on the topic of the screen, let's test out some of its security features like face unlock and the fingerprint reader. All right, so first up, let's test out the fingerprint reader. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Not a problem. And let's go face unlock. Not a problem. Let's do that again. Both of them fingerprint reader. Not a problem. And then bam, not a problem. So face unlock, fingerprint reader, both work excellent. All right, now let's talk about hardware. So there's a couple versions of this phone. My version has 12 gigs of RAM and 256 gigs of storage space, but there is an option for 16 gigs of RAM and 512 gigs of storage space. In the storage they use as UFS 4.0, so it's going to be lightning fast. And talking about lightning fast, let's move on to the processor. So this thing is rocking the Snapdragon 8 Elite chip. So on Antutu, I got 1.8 million for the score. That is blazing. This is the quickest phone that I've tested so far. So playing the latest games or multitasking, watching videos, things like that, it's not going to be a problem because this thing doesn't even break a sweat. Now let's talk about battery. So the battery on this one is only a 4000 milliamp battery. So it's lower than the competition. And then the charging speed rate wired is only 25 watts. A little slow for what I'm used to, but not bad if you time everything correctly as far as when you charge. I usually charge it overnight, or I charge it first thing when I wake up, when I'm getting things ready. By the time I'm ready to go, everything's charged up. So I know the battery capacity isn't the largest out there, but I've been getting about a day and a half to 2 days of use per charge. I'm not like a super heavy user, but I average about 5 to 6 hours of screen time. And by the end of the day, I still have about 40–45% battery life left. I think that's pretty good. All right, so going back to charging, this phone can wirelessly charge. We've got 15 watts wireless charge. And it also offers reverse charging at 4.5 watts. If you need to, say, top off your earbuds, if they're out of juice, you can use this to charge those up and get you back on your way. All right, so let's go over some of the AI features. I know Samsung heavily marketed this phone for that. All right, so let's take a look at the AI features. So we've got call assist, Get real-time translation during voice calls. I think that's pretty dope. I think I can find a way to use that. Same with writing assist and with the interpreter. Those are cool. Note assist, I'm sure I can use. Same with transcript assist. I don't know what this is. Browsing assist. Probably not so much. Photo assist, yes. Moving things around or removing things. I definitely use that. Drawing assist, no. The audio eraser, yes. That's really cool. You can remove distracting noises in your videos. So I'll definitely use that. Photo ambient wallpaper, nah, probably not. I mean, I like the wallpaper that I use. I've been using it for a long time. I probably won't be using that. Now brief. It's supposed to be an assistant, and I don't know, pretty much whenever I see it, it's just talks about the weather or like current events. I guess it's all right. But yeah, that's about it for AI and what I would use it for. I mean, if it wasn't there, I wouldn't be disappointed, but it's there, so I'll find a way to use some of those features. As far as software support goes, this was supposed to have 4 years of OS updates and 5 years of security, but last January, Samsung had mentioned that all of the newer phones were going to have 7 years of support. So man, this thing is going to be good to go for a very long time. I think that's awesome. So very good on them for offering that, because I mean, these phones aren't cheap. I purchased this out of pocket. Being able to use it for a long time like that I think is great. All right, so let's talk about the camera system on this phone. We've got a triple camera setup on the back, and then we've got a hole punch style up front. All right, so as far as camera goes, we've got a triple camera setup. We've got the main camera. It's 24 millimeters, 50 megapixels at f1.8, and that's got OIS, so image stabilization, very cool. Then we've got a telephoto lens on there, 67 millimeters, 10 megapixels at f2.4, also has OIS. And then we've got an ultra wide 13 millimeter, 120 degree view. That's 12 megapixels at f2.2. And I'll show you some examples here now. All right, guys. So what do you think? Was it any good? Let me know down in the comments. I think it's excellent. The past 2 weeks I've been using this phone. It's been a joy. It's super quick. It's super snappy. And it's at a form factor or size that I personally enjoy using. So guys, that's going to be it for this video. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. It's very much appreciated. As always, I'm John at Tekmogo. I'll see you in the next one.